Okay, so first of all, we're going to need 2 balls of wool, 1 red and 1 green. These are just 25 grams of bog standard double knit yarn. Then you're going to need a crochet hook using a 3.5mm one here. Then you'll also need a darning needle, a stitch marker and a pair of scissors. So to get started, we're going to use our red yarn first. So find the end and we're going to make a magic ring. So taking 2 fingers, I'm going to wrap the yarn over the 2 fingers, round the back, and then I'm going to cross it over. And I'm just going to hold it still with my ring finger. Taking my crochet hook, going underneath the first loop, over the second one and pull it through, then under the second one and pull it through. Just like that. And then we've got our magic ring. Now I'm going to make 6 single crochet into the magic ring. So to do this, we go into the ring, wrap around the yarn, pull it through. So you've got 2 loops on your hook, wrap it round again and pull it through both loops. And that's 1 single crochet. So we go through like this, wrap it round, pull it through, wrap it round again and then pull through 2 loops. There we are, and that's your single crochet into the magic ring. So I'm going to make 6 of these. Let's just untangle this wool a bit here. So 6 into the magic ring, so that's 2. There we have 3. I'm going to go a bit quicker. 4, 5 and 6. Lovely. So we should now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochet. Now to close this circle, we're going to take the short end of the ring and I'm just going to pull it tight. And if you watch, it's going to pull close that loop and pull it all round. Just like that. Pull it nice and tight. And then we have our little ring. So there we go with the bottom of the strawberry. Now we're going to start giving it some shape. So we're going to go into the first stitch, which I don't know if you can see it super clear. It's this little V here. That's our first stitch. So I'm going to go under both of these loops. That's 1, that's 2. Wrap around the yarn, pull it through, wrap around and pull it through 2. Now this is our first stitch of our second round. So I'm going to take my stitch counter, stitch marker even, and I'm going to place it just in this first stitch underneath like that. That way I won't get lost. Lovely. So that's our first stitch of round 2. Now we're going to do an increase. So this whole round is 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and we're going to do that 3 times. So there's my first single crochet. Now I'm going into the second stitch and I'm going to do 2 single crochet. So I go in, wrap around, pull through, into that same stitch again, in, wrap around, pull through. Then I'm going to do a single crochet in the next stitch, in, wrap round, pull through, and an increase in the next stitch. So 2 single crochet into this next stitch here. That's 2. And then a single crochet. And then finally an increase. There we go, and that is round 2. So we should now have 9 stitches on our pattern. So 9 stitches all the way around in the row. And now we're going to start round 3. So I'm going to take off the stitch marker, free up that first stitch. And then this round is going to be 2 single crochet and an increase. So we're starting off single crochet. And I'm going to pop my stitch marker back on, just so I know where I'm at. Then second single crochet, and then it's on the third stitch we're going to do an increase. So this one now is the increase. So we do 1 and 2 into the same stitch, just like that. And we're going to go all the way around. So 1, 2 single crochet, increase, 1, 2, and again 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and then an increase, so 2 into the same stitch, 1, 2. Lovely. So we should now have 12 single crochet going all the way around. And this next row is nice and easy. We're just going to do a single crochet in every stitch. So I'm just taking out the marker, starting off row number 4 with a nice single crochet, stitch marker back on, and then just single crochet in every stitch all the way around for this round. There we go. Lovely, so we still have 12 stitches. That was round 4. Now actually at this point I'm just going to cut this inside piece of yarn. This is the one I pulled from the magic ring, but it's getting in my way a little bit. So I'm just going to take my scissors, and I made sure I've pulled it nice and tight so we've got a nice close right on the bottom. And I'm just going to cut it. So there's still a little bit of a tail. That's fine. That's going to be sewed into our finished strawberry. But I wanted to just get that out of the way. So there we go, that's a bit easier to work with now. Lovely, so we're now moving into round 5, which is the same as round 3. So we're going to be doing 2 single crochet and an increase. So we go in 1, then put back on my stitch marker, 2, and now we're going to increase in the next stitch. So increase here, so we do 1, and 2. Nice and easy. Just need to undo some of this wool. Lovely. And we're going to do that all the way around. So 2 single crochet and an increase. It's a nice easy pattern. Lovely, so there's our last stitch, and that was round 5. Lovely, so now you should have 16 stitches in your round, 16 stitches going all the way around. And the next one, again, nice and easy, we're just going to do a single crochet round. Just single crochet in every single stitch, right the way around, nice and simple. So there's my first one, place the stitch marker, and then just single crochet all the way around. There we go. Lovely, so that was round 6. That's the bulk of our strawberry done. And now we're just going to do our final 2 rows and we're going to close in the top. So it's time to start decreasing. So to decrease, I'm going to take out my stitch marker. Then we're going to do 2 single crochet and a decrease. So we start off normally, 2 single crochet. Just pop the stitch marker back on. Lovely, and undo this wool a little bit. There we go, so that was 1, 2 single crochet. Now to decrease, we go into the first stitch, wrap around the yarn and pull through. Then straight away, I'm going into the following stitch, the next one along, into there, wrap around, pull through. So I should have 3 loops on my hook. Then I wrap around again and I pull through all 3. And then I've done 2 stitches together, so I've decreased. So now we're going to repeat 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and another decrease. So into the first stitch, wrap around, pull through, into the next stitch, wrap around, pull through, wrap around the yarn and pull through all 3 loops. Lovely. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet and a decrease in and through, and then our final 2 single crochet, 1, 2 and a decrease. There we go. So we should be back now to 12 stitches all the way around again. Okay, so now our final round, round 8, we're going to just decrease all the way around. So let's take out this marker. I'm going to straight away start with a decrease. So I'm going into the first stitch, into the second stitch, wrap around, pull through 3 loops. And that's my first stitch of this round. There we go, let's pop this back on. Lovely. And then just going to repeat that right the way around. So into the next stitch, wrap, next stitch, wrap, pull through. There we are. So we're really closing the gap now. 2, pull, 1, 2, pull through, 1, 2, pull through, 1, 2, pull through. Now I forgot to mention earlier that we need some stuffing for this. So taking some stuffing, just going to take a little bit, that's a bit much. Just going to pull it apart a bit. And if you want, you don't have to do every single decrease in this row. In fact, I'm actually going to undo one just while I stuff it. So just that last stitch, I'm just going to undo it just to give me a little bit more wiggle room to get this stuffing in. So undid it a tiny bit, taking my stuffing, just going to push it in, make it nice and full. Might have a little bit too much here. Let's take off some of it. There we go. So now I'll take my hook again. Oh, I think I've undone 2 there by accident. That's all right. There we are. It's probably best to do it at this point. So leave, how many have I done? So that's just leaving 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 stitches left. So that's 2 decreases left to do in that row. Is probably the best place to leave it open to stuff it. So I'm going to go back and just repeat these ones again. So we're just going to close it up, decrease, and a decrease. Oh, there we go. Lovely. So you've still got a bit of a gap at the top, that's fine, but now we've finished our strawberry. So we're going to wrap it round, pull through. Then what I'm going to do is take my scissors. I'm going to cut a fair amount of yarn that's left, just so that I've got a little bit to sew with. And then I'm going to pull it all the way through and pull it tight here. Stitch marker can come out now. There we go. Okay, so now we just need to close up the strawberry, the gap at the top. So taking my darning needle and the end of the yarn, we are just going to thread that through. Lovely. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and out alternatively through the stitches. So I'm going in the first stitch, out of the second one, pulling it through. In, then out, pull it through, then in and out, pull it through. Then I'm going to do one more actually. Let's go in and out. So we're back to where we began. There we are, all the way through. Then you're just going to pull it all the way around and it brings the strawberry to a nice tight close. Then just going to go over the top, over and under, pull it tight, putting it through the loop, just so it's nice and tight. I'm going to do that twice. Let's go across this way as well. Now this bit, if this bit's messy, it doesn't really matter because you're going to cover it with the little green top in a moment. So if you're stitching, if you're a bit worried about your finishing skills, then don't panic. I mean, that's not the neatest in the world, but it's fine. It's not going to be seen and it's secure. So I've gone through twice to make it secure. And now I'm just going to thread it through and then push it all the way through the end. pull the yarn all the way. Then what you want to do is pull it slightly so it's quite taut, and push down the strawberry just a little bit so that when you cut it close to the strawberry, and then when you let go, it disappears inside. There we are. And that's our base little strawberry shape. You can see here. Nice. So there we go. Now we're going to make the top. Now it's time for the green wool. So again, we're going to take the end and we're going to make a magic ring to start off with. So again, take the 2 fingers and the end of the yarn. You're going to wrap it around, keep it parallel on the back, cross it over on the front, hold it together with my ring finger, take the crochet hook, under the first loop, over the second one, pull it through, then under the second one and pull it through. And there's our little magic ring. Now this time we're going to do 4 single crochet into this ring. So 4 into the center. So in, wrap it round, pull through, in, wrap it round, and pull through, in, wrap and pull through, and 1 more. There we are, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 single crochet in our magic ring. So now we're going to close it, pulling this end nice and tight. So there we go, it's nice and tight. Now I'm not going to attach it straight away into the next stitch. I'm actually going to do some chain. So we're going to chain 4. So I just wrap around the yarn and pull through the loop. That's it, that's a chain. Wrap round, pull through, wrap round, pull through, wrap round, pull through. Now I've got 4 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we are. Now I'm going to go into the second chain from the hook, so not this one, the next one down, and I'm going to do a single crochet into the top loop. So we go into the top, wrap it round, wrap it and pull through, and then keep working my way down. So into the third one, and then into the 4th one. There we go. And now what I'm going to do, this is where I'm going to connect it. So back to the original magic ring stitches, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this 4th one, I'm now going to go in and do a slip stitch. So I just go in, wrap the yarn around, pull it through, then instead of wrapping it round again, I just pull it straight through. There we are. And now it's connected. Now I'm going to chain again. So chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 single crochet from the second chain from the hook. So this second one here, we're going in and pull. That's 2, and then our third one here, right at the bottom. Lovely. And then we're going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch. So here we are, slip stitch into this one, in and in. There we are. Now we're going to repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, then 3 single crochet starting from the second chain, 2, 3, then wrap more wool, slip stitch into the next stitch. There we are, I've got 3 leaves there. I'm going to do our last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch and pull through, lovely, and then a slip stitch here. I said slip stitch when I meant single crochet. Lovely, and there's the end. So now to finish this bit, we're just going to wrap the wool round, pull it through, take my scissors. Again, I'm going to cut quite a long piece of yarn here because I do want to sew it all together. So cutting there, I always think it's better to have a little bit too much than too little, and then I'm just going to pull it all the way through, pull it tight. There we go, and there's our little top leaf to go on top of our strawberry on here. Lovely. Okay, so we're onto the last bit where we're now going to assemble these together. Okay, so with the green one, we're just going to take that bit of yarn that's from the magic ring I'm going to cut it nice and close to the end, again leaving a tiny little bit, but it's absolutely fine because I'm going to sew over it, so that bit's going to be on top of the strawberry so you won't see it. Now, taking my darning needle and my strawberry, I'm just going to start by attaching it to the side where the yarn is attached, so just looping it through the top of the strawberry and then through the loop of the yarn. That's important. There we are, to make sure it's nice and strong. Lovely. So that's the first one I'm going to do. Then I'm going to go underneath and I'm going to sort of hold down the leaf and just push up into that leaf, sort of near the end, but not quite. There we are. Up and then right down next to it, just to hold it in place. And I'm going to go into this one next to it. So I'm going underneath all the way through the strawberry. Or if it'll go through, there we go. Pull up. And there we are. Then underneath. Into the next one. Where's it gone? There it is. Pull it through. Loop it over and then into the final one. Oh, there we are. And pull it through. Lovely. Now that's the side we start with, so I'm going to finish off on the opposite side. So I'm just going to push it through to the base. There we are, into here, into the base of the strawberry. So that has given us one stitch to hold down the leaves. I don't want them solid down, I want them up a little bit. But you see that stitch there is just holding it in place. So it's got a little bit of wiggle room, but it's not going to come up completely. Lovely. So I've now got it here. To finish off, I'm just going to wrap it round through a loop of the strawberry, up through the wool, through the loop, pull it tight. One more time, through the wool, pull it tight. Lovely. So that's two. And then the last thing I'm going to do is thread it through the strawberry, all the way through, right through to the bottom. Pull it through. Then pull it nice and tight, squish the strawberry down a little bit, take my scissors, cut it nice and close, and then it disappears into the strawberry. There we go, and then it's done. There we are. You've got a little strawberry. This is such a great little pattern. It's really quick. If you want a quick, small project to do, it can take about 15-20 minutes. It's nice and easy. It's quite beginner friendly. I know it looks quite complex, but it is very beginner friendly. And yeah, it's really cute when it's done. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed and look out for the next one. See you soon.